Welcome to the Militia gaming community. I'm Trigger, and this one's all about the Mustang Foxbody in Need for Speed Unbound. Let's go! Shout out to Leon Unleashed for this build. He submitted it via the website, and if you want to submit your builds, you can go to the website militiagamingco.com and submit your builds. This Saturday, I'm actually going to be doing a stream where I'm going to be testing S-tier builds. So if you want to go onto the website and submit an S-tier build before then, you might have a chance to be shouted out and featured on stream. All right, let's get into it. So if you're looking for a 10-second muscle car, then this is your car.
My car? I said a 10-second car, not a 10-minute car.
It doesn't come with a 2JZ, but can be built to run a 10-second quarter mile with a 0 to 60 of 3 seconds flat. I actually had a ton of fun testing this build because it's rare to see a muscle car capable of competing in the S+ tier. Here's the build, and now let's talk about the pros and cons. Pro number one, it's got very good mid and top end acceleration. I found it to be an excellent accelerating car through all gears, but that mid and top end especially, it accelerates really well, and particularly when you're using NOS. It's very competitive on speed races, except for when you're racing the Regera, which nothing is competitive with that. It also has very good gains. No, we're not talking about those gains. We're talking about burst NOS gains. It's excellent. It actually gives you more burst NOS than most other cars, and I think that's because it's a rear-wheel drive 80% grip car that's not meant to grip. It actually, I think it was designed in this game to be a drift car, but if you grip up and don't drift a corner, you actually are rewarded very, very nicely. That's actually a pro as well, 80% grip. Again, that's very high for a rear-wheel drive muscle car. Pro number four, it's semi-competitive in the S+ tier. Now, the reason I say semi-competitive is because it's not fast enough to compete with like the top 5 meta cars in that tier, obviously. Regera, FXXK Evo, maybe the F40 if driven correctly, and a couple of others that are just really, really fast in that tier. So it's not competitive with those cars, but for the most part, you can stay with most of the cars in that tier so long as you don't come across one of those really OP builds. Pro number 5, it actually has the potential to be faster than what I'm saying, but it is dependent on the user's skill. So if you're very good at driving, this is a build you may want to try to go after because it actually makes things a little bit more interesting. You know, you're not just blowing away the competition, you're going to be a little bit closer to the people behind you, but you have to drive well. You have to know how to feather the gas through the turns. You have to know that when it starts to fishtail on you, how to correct that and use burst NOS correctly. There's a lot of things that user skill can help, but the fact that this car has such a high skill gap, it actually means that it is a little bit faster than even what I'm saying. And then finally, the 6th pro is that it has 1,167 foot-pounds of torque. It is super torquey, so you can use your gas to control the angle of your drifts when you're going through corners. It is very, very nice to use, and it's fun to use because you can actually drift the car the way it's supposed to be drifted. Now, this is a grip build for sure, but you have to micro drift certain corners because it just doesn't have the turning radius. And that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the cons. The first one is that it does get squirrely in the corners, especially when drifting if you're not careful. Like I said earlier, user skill is really crucial here. If you're not the most skillful driver, then this car is going to feel a little bit wild. But if you feel comfortable controlling cars, especially when drifting, I think that you can take this car and do well with it. Con number 2, it tends to oversteer when burst turning. Now, this is also something that is user error mostly. Sometimes it's uncontrollable, especially when you get a 3 burst and you just pop it at the wrong time. But you can correct this. You just have to let the gas off when you burst, then get back on the gas. The other con is what I've been talking about this entire time, which is that it's really just not super easy to drive. It's not real user friendly. It's fast, but it's just not user friendly. And con number 4, it actually has a slow start when you do this in automatic. So if you're a manual driver, I think you'll benefit a little bit more from this particular build. And the last con is that it has very limited customization. I'm just not a huge fan of limiting the customization. I think they should have tried to put every body kit, every bumper combo, every exhaust tip or diffuser or fender option. I think they should have put it all on every single car. I know it's a lot of work and a lot to ask of a developer, but this one has very limited customization and it's just, you know, not my favorite. I think the headlight options could have been better. I think the taillight options could have been better. The spoiler options are just meh. It's just the customization is not great with it. So you're going to have to rely on picking out a wrap that makes it look really good and maybe some good wheels, which I didn't in this recording, but you can definitely make it look good. It's just pretty limited on the number of options. All right. And that's kind of it with this build. I'm super surprised that this car is this fast. Like I said, it is semi-competitive. You can use it in S+. And so far, this is actually the fastest muscle car build I've had for S+. So if you have an S+ muscle car build that you think I'm missing, definitely submit it on the website. Again, it's militiagamingco.com. Go over to the build section and you can scroll down and submit your own build. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy this build, and once again, shout out to Leon Unleashed. His channel link is in the description down below. All right, thank you guys so much. Talk to you later. Talk to you later? What the f? Thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to all the Heat 5 members of the channel. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.